From the banks of the Mississippi to the peaks of the Smokies, this is the home field of champions.
Andre Callaway to Stanley Morgan.
And so, pulls it down. Nobody can catch him. Reggie White penetrated.
Touchdown, Heath Gillis. James Stewart.
Manning on the necking handoff.
Peerless Price.
Travis Henry scores for Tennessee.
More than 75 years of broadcast excellence. We are the Vol Network. What happened this weekend? What lies ahead? Analysis and insight from the inside. This is Big Orange. Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's is the perfect place to rewind after every Tennessee game.
This is Big Orange Rewind. With the voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, and VolQuest.com's Brent Hubbs.
Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's on a Sunday night after a bye, or before a bye, actually, I should say. See, I'm so goofed up about the bye. The Vols will not play next weekend, but they certainly had a game in Starkville, Mississippi that everyone has at the top of their mind right now, winning 41-34 over Mississippi State in overtime. Vols remain ranked 15th in both major polls. They seem to be stuck on the same spot. That surprised you they didn't move up?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, you get a road win over a team that has not lost this year, and you have an Arizona State win that looks a little better. I mean, that's a good win for Arizona State. So Mississippi
because they beat TCU.
Yeah, their record looks a little better. I thought you might move up with the shakeup and everything happened in front of you. I thought you might move up a couple of spots. Not a huge jump, but I would have thought 12-13 maybe.
Serious question for you coming after I mentioned that people can text us their questions at 865-657-1278, 865-657-1278. We'll get to the text questions as quickly as possible. But my serious question for you, you're on the sidelines at Davis-Wade Stadium, white out, Mississippi State students going crazy, crowd outstanding, cowbells everywhere. How does that noise affect you on the sidelines and thus maybe impact the team and the game?
It just is relentless, I think, is the thing. I thought, that they'll ring them, it'll get loud at different points, but it will go down, right? There'll be moments, there'll be longer moments where there's no noise. It's just a constant roar. It's just kind of a constant. I likened it to, 50,000 locusts making noise. I mean,
you're talking about like how it sounds when the cicadas come back, and it's just not making fun.
No.
Just saying it's just that constant.
Yes. And listen, I'm not making fun of it at all. Now, we can debate on whether you should be able to do it. That's a whole different topic.
Right.
I'm not making fun of them for that being their thing. And I'm just trying to find a way to compare it, and that's what I compare it to. It just doesn't go away. It's just a high decibel roar for 4 hours.
How did it affect the football team?
I think this team did a really good job of it not bothering them. I really do. I think they tightened their huddles up in the bench area to make sure they could hear when they were going over adjustments. You had 2 false starts on offense, both of them in third and short situations that I don't know if that was the crowd as much as it was you're trying to get going early. You're just a little eager there. But I thought they communicated well. I didn't think it bothered them. And I think that's a credit to Josh Heupel, the coaching staff, because they made it a thing during the week without making it a thing. And what I mean by that is they practiced with the noise. They practiced with cowbells. They did everything to mimic it that they could. But they didn't overanalyze it to the point that, you're kind of spooked by it a little bit.
Like the way you feel some teams might do about Rocky Top when they come in here to play Neyland Stadium?
Yeah, I think you can talk yourself into too much. And I think coaches do that, right? So you've heard of teams going somewhere early to get acclimated to the time zone, or you've heard somebody changing their sleep pattern on Wednesday to be ready for Saturday, or you're worried about the heat, so you do this or you do that. I think you can talk yourself into more problems if you're not careful. And I think but I think you have to deal with it too. I don't think you can just say, "Oh, we're not worried about that." You have to prepare for it, but you don't want to over prepare for it. I think Tennessee was clearly prepared for it. And I don't think it was a big deal. I don't think they made it a big deal. I don't think they struggled to communicate. Again, it just once it kind of got going and it just stayed constant, it almost became a little bit of white noise too. When there's ebbs and flows and it's kind of quiet and all of a sudden it gets super loud on third down at some places, like, oh, he can't communicate. He's trying to get up and down. But when it's constant, you just kind of figure it out and just kind of go. And that was my biggest takeaway. For 4 hours, it was constant.
Time for the Rackley Roofing recap, a breakdown of Tennessee's win against Mississippi State, presented by Rackley Roofing, transforming the roofing industry with unmatched customer service, detailed documentation, and the highest safety standards. Rackley Roofing, the proud official roofer of the Tennessee Volunteers. Brent Hubbs, you have had a chance to watch and study the game tape. What jumped out to you about the Volunteers' victory in overtime over State?
The resolve of this team jumped out in a good way, for sure, that they just continued to keep playing. I thought the defensive line in pass rush situations was obviously really good. I think that, the concerning takeaway, if you want to look at it that way, is Tennessee gave up too many yards on the ground. Now, they cleaned that up in the fourth quarter. They did a better job of kind of creating an edge, much better than they did early in the game where teams bounced it. Georgia had right at 100 yards rushing outside the tackles, and Mississippi State had right at 100 yards rushing outside the tackles. Tennessee fixed that some in the second half, but that's something that they have to address in this open date. They cannot let the ball get bounced outside. They've got to force it back into the linebacker help. And then on the offensive side, I thought Joey Aguilar on that last drive was outstanding, and we'll dive into that throughout the program here. I think one of your takeaways is you got to figure out where you are in your run game, and you got to get a little more oomph in your run game if you're Tennessee. I don't know exactly what the fix is to that. I don't know if it's how much of that was what State was doing. I don't know exactly what all's going on there. Didn't feel like Tennessee had as much push as they needed to have in their own run game. And I think State played a lot of games up front with run blitzes and bringing linebackers from different places. I thought Ramon did a good job pointing all that stuff out on the radio yesterday. I think it was a hard game, not because of noise, but it was a hard game to communicate up front because who's coming, who's not coming, who's in the box, who's not in the box, those types of things. Tennessee's got to clean that up. But listen, they're far from perfect. They missed a ton of opportunities yesterday, but it's a team that's giving you 60 minutes plus. They compete their rear end off for 60 plus minutes, and I think that is the foundation for what you're trying to build on here over this next critical month.
All right, text questions, 865-657-1278. How many of Aguilar's interceptions were actually well-thrown catchable balls that were drop-tipped or the receivers slipped down against actual bad throws or bad decisions?
That's a great question.
He threw 2 picks.
Yeah, and I thought one of those Kitzelman probably should have caught. I thought the other was a bad throw. To Joey Aguilar's credit, post-game, he said both of them were on him. His ball placement wasn't good enough. And he got a little bit inaccurate. He was behind receivers. But, Mike, I don't feel like it was late. I don't feel like he was waiting till the guy was open and he was throwing it too late. I just think he got a little wayward with his accuracy.
Missed Kitzelman one time on a pass that would have been a nice gain.
Yeah.
I guess in the third quarter that would have helped, certainly would have helped to drive. Had a couple like that. Did have some drops early, though.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
The deep ball and swing pass, and there were some things that were certainly there.
Yeah, and you go back to the Georgia game, the one interception he threw, Braylon Staley just slipped and fell. He was completely – that one's not on him. So I think when you look at his overall body of work, it's probably 50-50, that guys should have caught the ball, or, 50 that the other 50% of them were balls that Joey Aguilar would like to have back. That's the interesting thing about Joey Aguilar through what we've seen thus far. He has been better than than I thought he would be. I think everybody would agree with that. He just kind of gets in that drive or two where the ball just doesn't seem to come out of his hand the same way as it did. And I don't know if there's a mechanical thing there. He throws the ball a lot of times, almost all the time, without the laces. He throws the backside of the ball. He doesn't throw with he doesn't grip the laces of the football. I don't know if that plays anything into accuracy or not, but it feels like for a little stretch it kind of gets away from him a little bit. And then to his credit, he comes back and finds it in the fourth quarter. He goes 6 for 6 on that game-time drive.
The important drive. I think you see some of that. You see some of the different arm angles and the different quick throws, and they're almost like push throws, and it's almost like they catch the ball, and as soon as they catch the snap, they want to be in a position where the ball's coming out, where before, if you take the snap under center and you're dropping back, you set it in your hands as you're taking the 3-step, the 5-step, or the 7-step drop. There's almost some of the angle to it like we saw out of arena quarterbacks, where they would catch it and almost push it forward with 2 hands or whatever because you're trying to get it out of your hands so quickly. So, I can't figure all of that out from what that is with some of the quarterbacks today with these faster offenses that certainly it's almost as if some of the passing is an extension of the run game because you're just basically pitching it out sideways to someone. Most of the things you've seen out of him, though, I can think of 4 of the interceptions are not bad decisions. The deep ball against Georgia at the end of the half, not a bad decision. You're taking a chance. Sure. It ends up being like a punt. Obviously, the Staley interception where he falls down, that's not a bad decision. The Kitzelman throws, I didn't think either one was very good, but not a bad decision. I mean, it's not like you went to the wrong place with the ball or you tried to thread the needle too much, I don't think. Now, I'm not a coach. I'm certainly not an offensive coordinator. I don't know what Josh Heupel would have preferred that he do. But, I mean, the deep ball he threw Mike Matthews was
couldn't throw it any better.
Yes. I mean, the deep ball that he put up for Brazel where the OPI was called was – but that's what I like about him is he's saying – I mean, he didn't throw Brazel open or he's just like, look, Brazel's back there with one guy and I think he's going to win, and he did. Mm-hmm. Now, the official didn't like it, and I think that call was made largely because the defensive back fell down.
Well, what's interesting about that call is the official running with the receiver and the defensive back didn't make the call.
It, right.
And so I'm standing on the Tennessee sideline, and I was actually behind the play, so I'm probably 70 yards away from it. And watching it live, when they threw the flag, I went, yeah, okay, I get it. Because the look of it is it looked like he shoved him down.
Right.
Now, the official running with him clearly saw that he didn't.
Right.
But he didn't overrule the official who threw the flag. And the official who threw the flag thought he saw something, and I guarantee you when he watched the replay, it's not what he thought he saw.
Well, and that's right. And it's also like what they teach in practice, which is so interesting about if you're blocking someone and if you get him in the shoulder pads, inside the shoulder pads, and you grab him, that's not going to be holding. But the minute you get outside the pads, that flag's coming out because what they think they see, whether it's true or not, what they think they see is control. And they don't want you to be able to use, your hands to control someone in that way. And so, that's the difficulty with the calls for the officials because I'm like you. When you see the defensive back fall down, you assume that Chris Brazel pushed him down. Well, that's not what happened.
Right.
But because he fell in that instance, that's what it looks like to the official, and he's going to make that call. Is that a bad call? I mean, I think probably in retrospect you would say yes. except for the fact you're not the one who's having to see what you think you're seeing in real time. Often, I guess my point, making this too long, but my point is oftentimes they call what they think they're seeing, and that's really all they can do.
Yeah. My question there is that his call versus the guy who's
now,
there?
That's another show.
Because they had a long debate.
How
there.
many hours do we have on that? I mean, how many times do you
Right.
see holding on the offensive line called from somebody in the secondary, or, I mean,
Yeah, that's my thing there. Is like, I get what he thought he saw, but is that his call? And they had a long deliberation where clearly one official thought he saw something else, and obviously they didn't overturn the call there. But, that's not what the guy asked. But that one was a tough one because I think you can make a case on some other plays Brazel might have got away with some stuff.
the Georgia catch at 28-27?
Might have got away with one there. That was not one that he got away with. That was a defender's falling. He didn't do anything to shove the defender down. He went up and high pointed the football.
Yeah, he's hand fighting with the defender, who, by the way, is hand fighting with him. And in that case, again, if the defender doesn't fall down, I don't think that's called.
No, I agree with you. I agree with that 100%. Here's the other thing, too, about Joey Aguilar and the 5 interceptions that he has. I don't know that I've ever seen, I guess now 3 interceptions, where the ball goes 25 feet in the air.
Volleyball.
Normally if like Turrentine makes a really good play, you don't look at any of those interceptions over the middle and go, man, that defensive back made a great play on that ball. Braylon Staley fell. Ball bounces off a shoulder pad. It bounces up 25 feet in the air, and the guy's ready to fair catch it like a punt. I mean, that's a quirky thing that we've seen. One of those yesterday, the defensive back, I thought, baited Joey Aguilar into that throw. It looked like Kitzelman was open, and he was sitting on that, waiting on it, and he reached over and batted the ball and got his hand on it, and it knocked up in the air. That's the one that I thought that Joey Aguilar made a bad throw on. I guess that was the second pick. The first one I thought was one of those deals where Kitzelman probably tell you he should have caught it, and Joey said, I didn't deliver it where I needed to deliver it.
All right, Stephen in Athens says, I feel like Mike Matthews is one of those players we have to find a way to get more involved in the offense. I was thinking we could possibly run a jet sweep play with him. What are your thoughts?
I think you would like to get him more in the offense. I tell you, the guy that I think got to get 12 catches a game is Chris Brazel right now. Feels like he's open every play. But I do think Mike, maybe disappears a little bit. That maybe you could call some things to him. But I think all 3 of those guys are playing well. I think they're playing better than any of us thought they were going to play in the preseason. Mike's dropped a couple of balls that, that would have been a big play. Brazel dropped one in the Syracuse game that would have been a huge play. They've got to clean that part of it up. Athletically, you would like to see Mike Matthews maybe get the ball in space and go to work. If Braylon Staley makes the block, I guess it's from the
10-yard line.
Is that the second quarter that one happened? If he makes that block, Mike Matthews is to the house on that little wide receiver screen that they ran out there. So I think all that group is all getting better. I think you're going to see Mike Matthews continue to be more and more involved moving forward. I think he is really starting to settle in nicely with Joey in this offense and some different things that they can do. He was targeted, he had 100 yards yesterday.
118.
He was targeted like 8 times in the game. Same as Brazel. They were both targeted 8 times.
But I'm like you with Brazel. It almost feels that I looked at Ramon at one point, and I was going to say this in the course of the broadcast. It feels like you should try to throw it to him every play.
It does right now.
Just say it like a basketball player. Mm-hmm. It's like, why do you not pass it to this player like Dalton Connect was a couple of years ago at certain points where – he would just go nuts. He'd score 20 points in 6 minutes. There are some people that are just on a heater like that, and that's what it feels like Chris Brazel is on right now. I don't see anybody covering him. It doesn't. I know they're trying. I'm not insulting him. I'm just saying it feels like he's always open.
Well, here's the thing about Brazel when you talk about his backstory and kind of everything about it. He grew in height really late in his high school career. So when he started playing receiver, he was the inside slot jitterbug wiggle guy. And so much like a basketball player who grew late
Well, Dalton Connect.
Right, but he could handle the ball.
Right.
So, I mean, all of a sudden he wasn't on the block because he didn't spend his whole time, but he had played guard, and then he grew 6 inches. Brazel played inside, so he really learned how to run routes and has really kind of choppy feet.
He does.
Like slot receiver
Well,
feet.
like on the fourth down play.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great route.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's what I think makes him really hard to cover because he can high point it over you. His height plays to his advantage. He's got long arms. He's got speed to go, but he's a good route runner. He's not a long strider,
right,
out wide receiver.
He's not a guy you got off the track team who was a hurdler.
Yes, exactly. And so because of that, I think he can spin DBs around pretty well. And so I'm like, if you need a play, I'm thinking right now, hey, man, just raise up and throw the 10-yard out. Because that DB is flipping his hips so hard because he's afraid of getting beat deep.
Sure.
And Chris has done a great job coming back to the ball on things as well. So, I mean, Tennessee went to Pittsburgh, Mike, in 2022, and they played basketball is what they did in that game because Cedric Tillman was targeted 18 times in that game. And it was just one of those, it was like, hey, this is over. We're just going to keep throwing this.
Right.
And I think you can get into some of that with Chris Brazel right now. It's like, hey, he's hot. Let's just feed him. Keep feeding him the ball. I love the way he's playing right now. To me, through the first month of the season, offensively, Joey Aguilar is a story because we didn't know anything about him. The second story of this team is Chris Brazel because he was a guy that was a real disappointment a year ago. He was not. He wasn't anything like what you thought you were getting from Tulane. Now he's that and then some. For this offense right now. Great weapon.
That's the Rackley Roofing recap on Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's. More of your text questions, keep them coming at 865-657-1278.
Big Orange Rewind.
Sponsored by First Horizon. Big bank muscle, small bank hustle. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Complete coverage for every phase of life.
By the natural gas utilities and pipeline companies in Tennessee.
Natural gas.
Pilot, the official travel stop of the Vols. See you out here. RJV Kubota, with 2 convenient locations in Knoxville and Nashville. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Tennessee Volunteers.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit RJV Kubota locally in Knoxville or Nashville. RJV Kubota, a proud supporter of the Vols.
Tennessee fans, your game day isn't complete without Calhoun's. Whether you're inside Neyland Stadium for the game or tailgating on campus or at home, Calhoun's has you covered with shareable small bites, family feed packs, and party platters. Imagine your tailgate piled high with hickory smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and that famous barbecue chicken. The best of Tennessee on one plate. Call ahead or order online and make your game day legendary. Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee.
Vol Nation, if you're looking for quality performance apparel, look no further than Turtleson. Founded by UT alumni out of Bristol, Tennessee, Turtleson designs clothes and accessories that fit your lifestyle. From the office to the country club or the Tennessee Volunteers tailgate, Turtleson has the apparel that looks as good as it feels. Ask for Turtleson wherever you buy your volunteer gear or visit Turtleson.com to learn more. Turtleson is a proud sponsor of the Vol Network. Go Vols!
Coach Josh Heupel on decision making.
With our offensive play calling, we have to make decisions quickly. But there's one decision I don't have to make, my bank. Instead of choosing between big bank solutions and small bank spirit, I get the best of both with First Horizon.
Big bank muscle, small bank hustle.
For every play in life, there's a bank that has your back. That's First Horizon. Proudly serving Tennesseans for over 160 years.
This is Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
657-1278. Keith from Franklin asks, I thought when downing a punt, if your foot or feet, touch the goal line when attempting to down a ball, it was a touchback. Sure seemed clear on one of Mississippi State's last punts. His foot was clear on the goal line when downing the ball. They definitely did not review. They did not stop the game to review, but they definitely do review that sort of thing because they have somebody review. They're in Birmingham, right?
Yes, they're in Birmingham. Ball's got to break the plane in college. Ball's got to break the plane for it to be a touchback is the gist of it. They do review all those plays, but they're looking at the ball.
So they're not looking at where the person is who is downing the ball.
Correct. Not in the college game. That's the way I understand the rules. So, for example, you see a guy leave his feet
right
and try to bat the ball
like
back
Bennett
in.
Brady did.
Yeah, but if the ball is broken the plane, it's a touchback. It's a touchback, regardless of whether your feet's in and or not. You can be the best leaper in the world and you can bounce back. It's once the ball breaks the plane, that's when it becomes a touchback.
Okay.
From the way I understand the college rule.
Troy in Smyrna, Georgia. How will Tennessee handle this pre-Arkansas bye week coming off a big road win different than last year's?
Well, he's asking that question because they won at Oklahoma, and then they came back after the bye week and lost at Arkansas. I think for this team, it's about getting healthier, first and foremost, getting some guys some rest. I think this coaching staff has to really look at how they manage this team over the course of the next few weeks because the volume of snaps that guys are playing. From a maturity standpoint, you want to be ready to play. I think playing at home coming off a bye week is better than playing on the road. And you hope that you're mature and you go about it. They'll practice 3 days this week. They'll get the weekend off. Guys with bumps and bruises are going to be limited. I mean, Bryson Eason's not going to run around and practice this week. Arion Carter, who led the team in tackles and is dealing with some things, he's not going to run around and practice this week. So you're going to rest a good number of guys, and then you go back to work on Monday to get ready for Arkansas. Now, what's interesting with Arkansas is they made a coaching change. Today, Sam Pittman is out, and they've promoted Bobby Petrino, which everyone expected would be the choice if they made a move at the head coaching position. They're coming off an open day. So what do they do? What do they look like? That's what you're trying to figure out next about preparing for them. But for your team, you just want them to be mature.
But Bobby Petrino already had full control of the offense anyway.
Yeah, but you know he's going to want to put his stamp on it in some way. Like he did, but then, I mean, was it Sam Pittman, who's an offensive-minded guy and an offensive line coach? He had no say in what they were doing offensively.
I'm not saying he had no say, but I mean, are we going to get –
I don't think they're going to come out in the bone, but I think they may be more aggressive in some of the stuff that they do. They may throw it more.
Well, I mean, but you would figure Petrino has already told Hunter Yurachek, the AD at Arkansas, that he is interested in being the full-time coach.
Right.
He's already told him that. We know that. That's been reported.
Right.
So, I mean, he's got 6 games.
Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, he's got to show, obviously, a lot of growth with where they are. How does he – I don't know that he's been hand-tied. I don't think Bobby Petrino's been hand-tied by what he wants to do offensively, but are they more aggressive on 4th down? Do they do more trick plays? I mean, those are the things you don't know if someone's just trying to win the favor to get – now, his situation is different because he knows so many of the Arkansas people. That whole thing is going to be fascinating to watch from a coach's search standpoint. But does he audition for it any differently than how he's called football games the last month is my point. Is his audition tape different than what the first 4 weeks of the season or 5 weeks of the season shows?
I mean, they've lost 3 in a row. They lose to Ole Miss in a 41-35 game. And Ole Miss is, what, 4th in the country now in the polls?
Mm-hmm.
Then they lose to Memphis 32-31. In a game they were in control of and let get away. They go out against Notre Dame. They're in a 14-10 game that suddenly becomes 42-13 at halftime. and 56-13 when it's over. And, oh, by the way, that's it for Sam Pittman. But they have done some things this year. They were expected to be, at the very least, a bowl team before the season. There were some people who thought they could improve solidly. I don't think anybody thought they were a college football playoff team, but they certainly have not lived up to what Arkansas hoped would happen. And there was some doubt about Pittman, too, and where he was after the hip replacement, and did he want it enough anymore? And, you know, whether that's fair or not fair, I have no idea, but that's what's been speculated upon.
Well, Sam Pittman's one of the best human beings I've ever covered in the coaching business. He spent a year and a half in Knoxville. Terrific guy. He loved that job. But he's also very comfortable in who he is. He's all right if he's going to the lake, and he's good. So does that mean he didn't care? No, he cared, but he was not at a point in his life where he was seeking a statue and he was seeking, this next job or whatever. This was the only head coaching job he was ever going to have, and he knew it. And when it was over, and he was going to be fine with that, and is fine with that. How did that affect their development and all this other stuff? I don't know. What I do know is they can score offensively.
Right.
The quarterback's really good. They're having a hard time stopping anybody right now.
Right.
And I don't know if Bobby Petrino can fix them defensively. I don't know what they can do over the course of the next week defensively. That part will be interesting. For Tennessee, I think it's finding some better answers in the run game, offensively and defensively. Now you're going to play. One of the things Tennessee did a good job of against Mississippi State, they didn't let Shapen get out. They didn't let him squeeze out anywhere. Now, he's a willing runner, but he's not a great runner. This kid that's coming to town in 2 weeks can run, and he wants to get on the edge. So how your edges play, how you kind of squeeze him down in the pocket and not let him squirt out will be a huge point of emphasis in drill work that Tennessee will do this week to start to prepare, because – look at what Tennessee's got coming down the pike quarterback-wise. The green kid at Arkansas can really run, okay? Ty Simpson at Alabama
can run.
Can make plays with his feet. Kentucky, not so much. Then you look at Oklahoma. If Mateer's back,
which you know he will be,
he runs. And so Tennessee's focal point to the text question, what are you working on, where are you at, is it a good time in this? They have to spend a ton of time defensively really resetting to handle mobile quarterbacks, because they really haven't played one that you say, man, that guy's going to really take off and run.
Well, they thought Gunnar Stockton would, but he didn't.
He didn't. They got some guys coming to town, or they're going to go on the road that are going to run, that are not just, they might run him some. They're going to run them, starting with the green kid coming in from Arkansas.
Gabe from Elizabethton, does Heupel not using his timeouts in the final minute say anything about him not trusting Joey Aguilar or Max Gilbert in those moments?
This is a great debate, Mike. I mean, it's a great conversation because there's a couple of things that happen, and I don't know how much it changed any thought process. First, let's start with the punt return. You lost 16 seconds on the punt return because Boo Carter's trying to make a play, right? He cuts right, he cuts left, he gets 1 yard, but it takes 16 seconds to get a yard from the time the ball's kicked, snap until the end of the play. Then Mississippi State's got 3 timeouts. You don't want to punt it back to them from your 20 or
you
your
don't want to go
27.
3 and out,
right.
That's for sure.
You don't want to do what State did, because State gave you a chance because they went 3 and out with 1:55 to go.
Right.
So you let 30-some-odd seconds run off the clock after the first play, which you're sitting there watching that and you're thinking, he's playing for overtime. And then
I didn't.
Okay.
I after the first play, I think you're wanting to run some time there, because I think if you're Tennessee, I think you want to play that drive in the final minute.
Okay.
I think you want to play the drive in the final minute. I think you want to put yourself in a position that if you have to punt it to them, it's at a point where they really can't do anything.
I think that's exactly what. Standing down there, you're like, are you going to go or not going to go here?
Right.
But I think it was less about trust in Joey Aguilar, who, by the way, was just 6 of 6 on the previous drive.
Right.
And it was more about, we want to make sure we don't give them a chance to do something in the last 30 seconds of the game to kick a 50-yard field goal and walk off here and beat us. Then you hit the play to Kitzelman, and now you're starting to go. That's when you can discuss and debate really when do you take the timeouts and
at
what do you do.
13 seconds in that different area. I don't get a sense that he didn't take the timeouts there because of a lack of confidence in anybody.
No, I think the play, and you can argue you should have called a timeout to make sure that your quarterback understood. The play that killed them with a chance to get to a 48-yard field goal or a 52-yard field goal was the scramble by Joey Aguilar.
Right.
It took him 9 seconds to get 6 yards. Throw that away because you need 20 yards, not 6. And so that was the mistake. Now, you can argue, should you have called a timeout before then and discussed those things? Perhaps. But you lost 2 seconds by not calling a timeout on the clock. You lost 6 seconds with the scramble. If he just throws it away, then you get 2 more snaps out of and then you can start thinking about, well, what if I get a 15-yard out? Because, you're sitting there at the end. If you'd have had 7 seconds instead of 4 or 3 seconds, you're not throwing a Hail Mary.
No, you're throwing a 5-yard, 10-yard pass.
And trying to kick the field goal. Yep. So that's the debate there. I thought the Joey Aguilar scramble was the one that knocked the clock out of kilter for them to have a chance to kick it late.
You're listening to Big Orange Rewind on the Vol Radio Network, presented by Calhoun's. More of your text questions, and by the way, they've been really good so far. Keep them coming. 865-657-1278.
UT fans know it takes teamwork to win. And when you choose Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, you get a team who served Tennesseans for 80 years. From babies to seniors, big needs to small, we offer health coverage that fits your life and your budget. All from a company right here in your community. Now that's what we call a big win. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
This is Mike Keith, and you're listening to the Ford F-150 Truck Highlight Show. Go Vols! The smart, powerful Ford F-150 turned in another championship caliber performance. Thanks to available Pro Power onboard and outstanding payload numbers, fans will be talking about this tailgate for years to come. For great offers on a new Ford F-150, see your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of Tennessee Athletics.
See Owner's Manual for important operating instructions.
It's football time in Tennessee, and Alumni Hall is the place to gear up for your Tennessee Vols. Shop the largest and newest selection of top brands like Nike, Columbia, Peter Millar, New Era, Yeti, and more. Mix and match champion tees, 2 for $38, and spend $150 to earn $10 Hall cash for your next visit. Shop AlumniHall.com. Visit Alumni Hall in Knoxville, Murfreesboro, Bristol, or Johnson City, or download their app. Alumni Hall, the ultimate volunteer shopping destination.
Rackley Roofing is now the official roofer of the Vols, and Rackley is more than a roofing company. They're part of the communities where they work and live, investing in neighborhoods and opening doors to a career in an industry that's growing year after year. Rackley Roofing's mission is clear: transform the roofing industry with unmatched customer service, detailed documentation, and the highest safety standards. Because Rackley believes the ladder to a great roof is only as good as the people who climb it. Rackley Roofing, building roofs, building futures.
The week ahead. The final analysis on this week. Big Orange Rewind. Presented by Calhoun's.
Text line at 865-657-1278. Kevin in Columbia says, what a gutsy performance yesterday. They never stopped fighting. I saw several Tennessee players grow up yesterday, such as Edwin Spillman and Caleb Herring. Which young players did you see grow up yesterday?
Jack Van Doorslayer is on my list as a guy who took a step yesterday. He only played 7 snaps, okay? But you look at what he did in overtime. Great kick-out block on the Deshaun Bishop run. The block he had on Joey Aguilar's run for the touchdown there, really physical. Tennessee needs some help at the tight end spot because Kitzelman's playing too much. I think you watch that tape, and it's a small sample size, but I think if you're the coaching staff, you go, okay, He's coming. He's ready. We can play him more, not just in 2 tight end sets, but we can play him as the tight end and spell Kitzelman some. He would be one of those, and I think he's right on. I think Spillman's getting better. He's flashing more and more every game. I don't disagree with that at all. But I think Van Dorsletter's the guy who's going to help them more back half of the season.
And Herring is now tied for the team lead in sacks.
Got to play the run better, but he's obviously getting after the passer better and using his hands much better. I think he's got to continue to take a step against the run, but he's doing a great job off the edge with his rush lanes. He's not getting pushed way upfield. He's doing a really good job running a small arc, if you will, not being way behind the play.
Were you impressed by how much orange was in the area or stadium yesterday? This from the text line.
Not surprised. That's Tennessee. Hadn't been there in a long time. Fans like to go to places they haven't been to. I saw some friends there that I've known for a long time. He had a son with him. I said, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "Never been here, man. Chance to bring my kid. I mean, it's fun. We've never been to a place. It's not the hardest place to get to." Tennessee fans travel. They really travel when it's places they haven't been to in a while, much like we saw with LSU in 2022, certainly the case with Mississippi State. I thought there was a great contingent of orange there yesterday. It was fun to see that crew. They had a good time at the end.
Will you put a camera in the booth as you call football games? Other SEC teams do this. Can the Vols do it?
You're asking me? I'm not in the booth. If I'm in the booth, I don't want a camera in the booth.
The answer is yes and no. We have a camera in the booth. It is not a live camera. I know of which you refer. There are some schools that have a live camera in the booth, and they do a stream continuously, I guess on a YouTube channel probably. Mm-hmm. The answer is no. We will not do that. I respect other people's choices, but I respect the people who work with us more because their jobs are often not game-centric, much like what happens in the course of the game. Did we score a touchdown? Did we fumble a punt? Did we do this? Did we do that? They're working. And a lot of the things they're doing have nothing to do with what's happening on the field. Their reactions, who they're talking to, how they're gesturing. Sometimes it's because a wire isn't working or somebody's battery pack went out or there's some sort of problem back at the radio station. Due to the fact that you can't know that and understand, and I speak to you as the listener, there's no way for you to know that.
Right.
There could be inferences drawn that there are things going on in the game and that they are reacting to what's happening in the game, and then somebody could say, "Oh, look, the guys in the booth agree with me. We should have gone for it there." That's not oftentimes what's happening. So out of respect to their professionalism and what they do, hey, we'll show you all the goofy stuff of me. I mean, we got that. We put that out. Ashley Farrell handles that for us. She's handled it before. She's not afraid to put the goofy stuff out. That's fine.
You're good with goofy.
I'm good with whatever you want to see of me and the stupid stuff I do. I have no problem with that. Everybody else is working for a living. And my personal opinion as somebody who spent his life in broadcasting, I don't think that's a good thing to do for everybody else because they didn't ask to be put on camera.
Well, and you're not doing a multi-camera setup there, so it would be one wide shot.
Right.
So somebody listening, well, why don't you just put it on you and Ramon?
Right.
It doesn't work that way
no.
because you have to have a full wide shot.
Yeah, we had the ability now, so we can have a GoPro setup to where you can see Ramon and me at Neyland Stadium. The booth at Scott Field yesterday, Davis Wade Stadium, that wasn't possible.
Right.
So no, we're doing radio. You can listen to us on the radio, but again, on the socials, we'll put out all the goofiness that you could ever want to see or not want to see.
I mean, there's a lot that goes on up there that people don't understand, that goes far beyond calling first down, fourth down, touchdown, fumble.
Well, sometimes the world is basically ending up there.
Right.
And and I don't even realize the world is ending because I'm focused in, and I know that I have the trust of these people who are truly better at their job than I am at mine, and I'm very thankful for that. And that's, especially if you're having an equipment catastrophe, if you're having a weather catastrophe, all kinds of things can be going on that nobody will ever know, and it's easier for them to do their job if they don't have to operate in a way where they think, oh, gosh, did I throw a piece of paper at somebody trying to get their attention? And I mean,
sure.
When we did games in certain places in the past, Larry Stone would have to chuck a piece of paper at me so I would turn around so he could give the score update because he wasn't close enough. Well, if you just saw that on a live camera, you're thinking, well, this guy's in 7th grade.
Yeah. I mean, having been up there for nearly 3 decades, no camera. But because the context for the viewer is just, you have no idea what it is.
It is askew.
It's just skewed, and so not.
But thank you for asking, and thank you for being interested. I hope me telling you the absolute truth is.
Yeah, there's just too much going on up there that people don't know any of it about. It's not you're not trying to hide it. You just can't explain it when you're watching it on a live stream as to what's going on.
Right. You're thinking these people don't get along.
That's right.
We need a break.
Did he hurl a pen at him?
He just chucked a pen at him. Threw a bottle of Tums. What? We've got more of Big Orange Countdown presented by Calhoun's on the Vol Network after this.
A farm, a family, and a tradition of premium fresh sausage that's lasted almost a century. Using only the freshest ingredients and finest cuts of meat for flavor that is locked in instantly. Each bite of Swaggerty's Farm sausage transports you back to a warm, cozy southern kitchen, leaving you satisfied and ready to take on the day. Swaggerty's Farm, quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America. Now available at your local retailers.
The Vol Walk is a legendary journey from Circle Park to Gate 21 at Neyland Stadium. This is Coach Josh Heupel. Speaking of legendary journeys, Pilot's been out here fueling game day road trips and tailgates for over 60 years. That's why they've partnered with the Vols to preserve Neyland Stadium, ensuring that traditions like the Vol Walk endure for generations to come. Next time you head out to cheer on the Vols, make your game day journey legendary with a stop at Pilot. See you out here.
Vol fans, ready to score big on your next home? Clayton Homes, Oakwood Homes, and Love Homes are proud sponsors of Tennessee Athletics and proud to help you find your dream home. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking for your forever home, their teams across Tennessee have your back. With 29 locations statewide and Energy Smart Homes designed for year-round savings and a lifetime of comfort, it's never been easier to make the move. Stop by today and see why so many families and Vol fans trust Clayton, Oakwood, and Love Homes to turn home ownership into a win.
It's football time in Tennessee, and that means it's time for Calhoun's. Whether you're headed to the game or watching from home, make Calhoun's your pregame, postgame, and every game headquarters. From hickory smoked pulled pork to the legendary ribs, juicy burgers, and mouth-watering brisket, Calhoun's delivers the flavor that fuels Big Orange fans. With 9 convenient East Tennessee locations, there's a Calhoun's near you. So gather your friends, wear your orange, and experience why they're the taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's, proud to serve ball fans since 1983.
Mike, Brent, and you. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Discussion so far tonight, largely from you and Hubs. At
Hubs just making stuff up.
865-657-1278. Okay, Tennessee off this weekend along with Arkansas, Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss, Missouri, South Carolina, and Tennessee. I bet this will be the last time in SEC history that half the league will have the same bye.
Oh, yeah.
With the new 9-game schedule.
Yes.
Now, Tennessee will find out tomorrow what time the Arkansas game is. I'm going to let you play a little game here, Dr. Hubs. They will find out. Arkansas at Tennessee is one of the games on October the 11th. Alabama at Missouri. It's a pretty good game.
Okay.
Florida at Texas A&M. It's a good matchup. I don't know, because of Florida's record, if it's as attractive as normal. Georgia at Auburn.
Big game for both teams.
South Carolina at LSU.
Ooh.
Washington State at Ole Miss. Oklahoma against Texas in Dallas.
That's the 3:30 game.
Got to be, right?
Yeah.
So Tennessee is in the flex spot right now. They could be in the 3:30 to 4:30, or they could be in the 6 to 8 window. With Bobby Petrino and the storyline there, it's going to be his first game. They beat Tennessee last year. They're coming to Knoxville. Tennessee's coming off the big win over Mississippi State. Does that feel like night game to you? If you're just thinking in your mind about these other games and storylines, and
I wish you'd have told me that you were going to ask this question, because then I would have pulled up everybody. I don't know who's flexed for the early. I don't know who's already locked into an early game, because there's so that eliminates some of the people that we're talking about here.
You can't just just answer a question. Answering a question would be really great here.
Well, yes, to answer your question, I do think the storyline says night game, but LSU
more than a 4:15.
LSU is going to be a night game. South Carolina, LSU at LSU.
Well, but you can have. You've got a 7 o'clock window, and you've got a 7:45 window.
So do you want to put? What do you want to put Tennessee and Arkansas? I think it's probably night game, because they would rather than be up against LSU, South Carolina, as opposed to being opposite of Texas and Oklahoma.
Sure.
Because the league does not want to draw viewers away from Texas, Oklahoma.
No.
If they can help it. So from that standpoint, it would feel like it's possibly a night game. But I don't know who else flexed where. So I've got an uninformed answer for you that's not very good.
Brett Hubbs answering questions on Big Orange Rewind.
Sidestepping as many as he can.
Presented by Calhoun's on the Vol Network.
Miss any of today's Rewind? Catch the full podcast with Mike Keith and Brett Hubbs. UTSports.com. We are the Vol Network. Exclusive guests, insider analysis. You know what happened. Find out why and how and what happens next. This is Big Orange Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's. A taste of Tennessee. Grab a taste after the next Tennessee game. Calhoun's.
Victorious in Starkville over Mississippi State, 41-34 in overtime. First ever overtime game between the Vols and the Bulldogs. Seems like every time the Vols play anybody named Bulldogs now, they go to overtime. Explain this to me. Is every SEC game at Tennessee required to be an overtime game now?
Well,
because I was not aware of that.
It's not in your contract?
It was not. I was not aware of that.
You didn't negotiate 4.5-hour games?
I didn't know that I was going to have to call all overtime games. But they've been very exciting.
Yeah, they have been. They're good games. And I think Tennessee Tennessee's experience in overtime helped them yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I think the air was let out of Mississippi State because it went to overtime. I don't think they handled it as well as Tennessee did, and obviously Tennessee executed perfectly. They didn't draw that up and say, "Hey, let's run the 25-yard touchdown play here," but they executed that one terrifically. And then I thought the moment was a little bit much for Mississippi State when they got first and goal at the 5. I thought that. They got a little bit out of sorts there. I'm almost surprised Lebby didn't call a timeout just to kind of sort of settle
I was
themselves.
shocked by that, especially due to the fact that Shapen ran and he had taken a lot of hits on the day. And I don't know, was it McMurray? I think it was McMurray.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that he hit him that hard, but it looked like Shapen landed weirdly, and you'd think, okay, let's take just a second and let our quarterback catch his breath and make sure we have everything together.
Yeah, well, he got hit twice on that 4-down set right there because they were running RPO on the first one. Tennessee did a great job covering the tight end in the flat on the RPO,
right,
which forced him to keep it. He gets hit there, and then the other one, it was an awkward deal because his feet went out from under him, and then McMurray kind of falls on him there. He was kind of winded. I was a little surprised they didn't call a timeout and go, okay, let's run our 2-point play here. Let's run the best thing we've got on 4th down like it's a 2-point conversion play because it's essentially where you were on the field. And kind of – I don't think you were giving Tennessee any kind of advantage defensively if you call timeout there if you're Mississippi State. I was surprised that they didn't go, okay, 4th down, game's on the line here. Let's make sure we all know what we're doing. Arion Carter played the quarterback's eyes and made a really good play coming off of his receiver and batting the ball down at the goal line. They didn't have a whole lot of space there. There wasn't anything really there. Really good job by Tennessee matching up on the back end, and they got a little pressure up front and did exactly what you needed to do.
Man, I thought for a second Evans had caught it on the deflection, that he had juggled it to himself until you saw that ball bounce away, and it was clear that Tennessee had won the game. All right, Preston in Morristown is our next texter at 865-657-1278. Wants to know, why do you think UT got away from the run in the middle of the game?
I think there's a question a little bit about, and again, this is your self-scout in the open day. If you're Tennessee, is there a message to yourself? Maybe we're getting too far from the run game in general. Do we need to run it more when you try to figure out how do you improve your run game? I think is the question, because Tennessee has not run it a ton. They haven't called a bunch of runs. When you think about it, Georgia, they had 33 runs. Mississippi State, they had 32 runs. When you're running the volume of plays that Tennessee runs, Mike, is that enough called runs? I think that's something that you look at in your self-scout. The Georgia game, it was easy to get away from the run because you went 14 for 14 to start the game, and you're throwing it all over the place. Like, why run it? Everything's rolling.
The difficulty, Joey Aguilar has 2 300-yard passing games in the 2 conference games, and Tennessee has gained 962 yards in their 2 conference games.
Right. It's not like they're not moving the ball.
They had 24 first downs at Mississippi State. So, it's a bit of a conundrum because I don't necessarily disagree with Preston. I'm a big fan of running the ball and having that balance. But when you're throwing it so well and you've got a hot receiver like Brazel and Staley's doing good things and Matthews doing good things and Kitzelman is a factor as well, it's tough. And, I think this week is a big week for saying, okay, next 4 games, all conference games, all key. What do we do? What do we look like?
I think the question you're asking yourself right now is, okay, we can throw it. We've got a good passing game. It's going well. The question is, can we run it when we want to run it? When we got to have it, can we run it? Can we execute well enough to run it when we have to have it?
Did it at the end of the Georgia game. Mm-hmm. Put yourself in field goal range largely with the run game, and did it late in the fourth quarter and in overtime against Mississippi State.
Didn't do it after the strip fumble at Georgia with the way that you wanted to there. And you're never going to run it perfectly.
Right.
So let's be very clear. Like, it's not all supposed to be a 9-yard gain or a 20-yard gain all the time. I think the question is, do you feel like we can hammer somebody and really win the line of scrimmage? Here's the other thing, too, about this run game. What are they going to do on the offensive line? So David Sanders gets thrown into the game yesterday in the middle of the fire. I know he jumped off sides on 3rd and 1, but you go back and watch it. He did fine. Great play call, by the way, on 1st down to get him out in space,
Move
somebody.
Him. Yeah,
Just
Ramon picked that up right away. Let him get his nose bloody, as coaches like to say. And listen, he's a good player. He's a really good player. The question becomes now, even as the first 5 has done well, is he one of your best 5?
He was for 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
So if you move Jesse Perry inside and you flip Wendell Moy to the other side, how different of a run game are you?
With Moy playing next to Hurd?
Yeah. Are you more physical?
Yes,
Can
please.
you impose your will better? Does it make Sam Pendleton a better player. All these things are what you're trying to self-scout and self-evaluate this week as you get ready for the heart of this season and what's coming up.
Well, Jesse Perry has really played well.
Absolutely.
And so you still have Jesse Perry on the right side. You just have him moving inside with one of the most highly rated offensive linemen you have ever signed in the history of the program, who has been, if you watched him practice, which you did, you say, yes, this is not an overrated player. I mean, this is a special guy.
And there's a lot of investment in having him here.
Right.
Let's just be real honest.
I mean, that's part of
it. That's the world we're in. So I think that's the direction you go, which is where you were planning on going. We were going to be Wednesday before you played Syracuse.
Right.
There was not a competition in fall camp. Like, it became very clear in fall camp, Mike, that Pendleton was going to win the center job. There was no way Perry was losing the right guard job.
After a while, you were sure of that,
and so
right?
You knew the last 2.5 weeks or so of fall camp, that's where they're going on the offensive line. Well, now all the pieces are back, so why are you not going back to where you were to start the season?
Especially because you have time.
Yes.
You have 3 practices this week, and you'll be gearing up for a full practice schedule next week to get ready for Arkansas. And, oh, by the way, they haven't been great on defense so far.
And you've got a 6th man now that you feel really comfortable with in Sham Umarov, who's done a fine job for you.
He sure has.
He has played well. It's making this move is not a criticism of his play. It's just, is he one of your best 5, or is your best 5 where you were in fall camp?
Well, and if you believe the Glenn Ellerbe theory, Sham Umarov is going to play.
Right. He's going to be in a rotation. You're going to play him some. So now that's easier said than done. That's been talked about. They haven't done that a whole lot. Like, hey, 3rd series, we're going to go in with this way. I mean, I think there was a thought David Sanders was going to get in early in the football game.
I thought he was.
And I think they just, where they were at, they're just like, hey, we're going to ride with what we're doing because it's working right now. We're not going to disrupt things.
And also, you're in a ball game.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a ball game that's 7 lead changes, 3 ties. You fumble the punt right off the bat, and you're down 7-0 before you've even blinked. If you're up 14-3,
different thought process.
Is he in the 4th series? I don't know,
Maybe.
But it would make more sense.
Sure.
In a 7-3 game or in a 17-17 game, is that the moment you do it? I'll tell you, his reaction after the game was priceless, though, David Sanders, how excited he was that he got to play. You didn't think about NIL or 5-star or whatever. This was just a kid who was thrilled to win a game, thrilled to play for Tennessee, and was excited that he got his first action.
I thought he was going to be out of gas before he came back out to start for the game to start. I've never seen someone that excited expend that much energy in pregame warm-ups the way he did. It was a really cool moment on the sideline. Glenn Ellerbe came over to him while the trainers were working with Jesse Perry, had just a real soft word for him. Some guys came by and tapped him on the helmet like, you're good. And then there's Wendell Moy, who's like, hit me. He's like, what? Hit me. You need to make sure you can hit somebody. Let's go. And they look like 2 sumo wrestlers out there just kind of beating on each other. And that was Wendell Moy's way of saying, get your mind right, let's go play. That's what he did. Everybody else was, hey, you're good, whatever. And he's like, hit me. Come on, let's go get ready to play right now.
And, oh, by the way, Jesse Perry was right back in there the first second he could be.
They could not tape his ankle fast enough. And he came out of that injury tent, and they're like, hey, you need to do this, you need to test this. And he's testing. He keeps giving them the thumbs up. Hey, I'm good. And the trainer's like, hey, you need to get a teammate here so you can make sure you can push off with the ankle on a block or you can absorb a block. And finally, Jeff DeWitt, who's been with the program a long time, and the training staff, like, all right, move out of the way. And they just start hitting on each other. Jeff's got no pads on. He's hitting on him. Finally looks at him. He's good. Let him go play. And Jesse Perry couldn't get there fast enough. Sam Pendleton could not get his ankle taped fast enough as well after the Joey Aguilar touchdown. Tough guys up there. That's a tough group of guys. I think Wendell Moy's done a really good job setting a tone in that room that nobody really knows about. There's a quietness about him, but he's a grinder guy that works every day, and I think a lot of people are following his lead. He's a better leader than most people think in that room.
Big Orange Rewind presented by Calhoun's, 9 convenient locations in Knoxville and surrounding areas. Back to the text line, 865-657-1278. Big story is the defense was supposed to be a strong part of the team, giving up way too many points. If you had told me we would score 38 against Georgia in regulation, I would thought we would win by 2 scores. I buy that for the Georgia game, but I thought the defense was pretty good. I understand they gave up 34 points, but Mississippi State had to go, 63 yards to get 21 of those?
Yes, that's correct. I mean, they gave him a short field 3 times.
Beyond a short field.
Yeah, I mean, so they didn't get a lot of help there. I mean, at one point, Tennessee had more defensive touchdowns than had offensive touchdowns. I thought defensively, here's where this defense is for me. They're giving up too many explosive plays. They're giving up too many 20-yard plays. They're a little bit more feast or famine than what we saw a year ago. If the pass rush gets home, they're really good. If it doesn't, they've got some issues in the back end and zone coverage. But they're building and they're developing and they're coming along. This is not the version that I think this staff thought they were going to have, with the McCoy injury and Gibson and kind of what they've dealt with. That's not an excuse. You are who you are. But I do think that they made some strides on Saturday. I agree. I never dreamed that that Georgia would score that many points in Neyland Stadium with a young quarterback. I thought Tennessee. I could agree with that point there, but not at Mississippi State. I thought State would score. I thought they would score 28 points. They scored one more than I thought. But I thought State would have some opportunities offensively, and they would score kind of where Tennessee was. I think Tennessee took some defensive steps Saturday. They just have to really build off that moving forward.
Another question, why was Boo Carter not at punt returner for the first 2 punts?
I can't answer that question for you. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, Josh Heupel was asked about it post-game. He kind of sort of danced around and didn't really answer that one. They felt comfortable with their plan. Obviously, Staley didn't play the first 2 punts very well, and they went right back to Boo Carter. Outside of that, I don't have an answer for that.
Another one, what were your thoughts on the offensive PI against Brazil? Do you think there should be a challenge call for flags in college football?
You came from the NFL for a long time.
I did.
Do you like the challenge rule that the NFL has? Are you a fan of that? Are you a pro red flag?
I am a Bill Belichick guy in that I think every call should be reviewable and challengeable.
Every call?
Every call. Now, remember.
But you got a limited number.
That's it.
Right. So you got to decide if that one's important enough.
I like the college thing that you have to use a timeout, and then if you lose the challenge, then you've lost the timeout right there. Because I don't think that takes any more time away. They've got to do it fast. I think the review in college is outstanding because they're centered on those things so quickly. It's like when they spotted the ball wrong after the Mike Matthews catch coming out of the end zone. Brent, I thought I was going crazy. I look up, and I'm getting ready. I think I said on the air, he's down at the 43, and then they put the ball at the 47. And at that point, you're just going, when you're doing this live for a living, we all have challenges in our job. I get that. But I don't know if you, the listener, ever think, I've lost my mind. Maybe you do. But I thought I had totally lost my mind. Why is the ball at the 47? I saw him down at the 43. Well, then Birmingham hits David Smith, the referee, and says, the ball spotted wrong. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Now, the NFL will do that now, too. They have changed to that. Yeah, I would love to have seen that be reviewable, the Brazil play.
Yes.
Now, do I think that's going to be overturned? No, I don't. Because I think there's going to be an interpretation there that
is going to protect the official.
That's going to protect the official.
Yeah.
But do I like the fact that things like that could be reviewable? Yes, I do. But it's going to be a limited number.
Yeah.
When you say you can review every play, people immediately who don't like reviews say, whoa, you're going to play for 9 hours because,
right.
It's like, no. Every play is reviewable, but there is a limited number of challenges.
But by the way, I will say this too. Kudos to the ACC. I love what they're doing on Friday night, where they have we talked about earlier about having cameras or whatever. They have a camera in their command center with audio at the review, so you get to hear on the TV broadcast the official looking into the box, the iPad, talking to the replay official in their command center, and that's being aired on television.
I think that's good.
Yeah, I love the transparency
I
of it.
think the transparency is really
yeah, I think it's great.
It hurts nothing.
No, I mean, kudos to the ACC for doing that, because there were a couple of really critical reviews in that Virginia-Florida State game. And to be able to hear the discussion
of what they're looking
at and the different angles, and this guy says, hey, I want to see this angle again, and this, I think for fans who have the conspiracy that every official is out to get my team,
right,
which is what everybody has, it is a nice dialogue.
But you know what? And I'm not trying to win any Eddie Haskell contest or I thought yesterday's game was officiated just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the personal fouls that were called were clearly personal fouls. Were there? Yeah, it was. Did I think Brazel pushed off? No, I don't. But I mean, that's a judgment call, and we understand you're going to have some of those things happen. I thought for the most part they let guys play.
Yeah, the problem with the Brazel call is you go from touchdown to 1st and 25.
Right.
It's such a killer penalty.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it's the right call. I think they missed it.
But I understand why he threw the flag.
I understand why he threw the flag.
And I'm with you 100%.
Because the defensive back fell.
I thought he pushed off. For where I was standing, I was like, oh, yeah, he pushed off. A Mississippi State trooper, nice man, he goes, what do you think the call is there? I said, oh, they got Tennessee.
Why are you talking to cops from Mississippi?
He asked me, hey, listen, I'm a man of the people.
What are you doing?
You never know.
Were you in some sort of trouble?
I don't want to get thrown out
anywhere. Maybe we need
anywhere.
a little transparency right here. Hey, if you need a haircut with the Great Clips app, he's talking to cops from Mississippi. What's up with that?
A very nice state trooper.
Yeah. You can put your name on the list from anywhere and head to the salon when you're next, because getting a great haircut shouldn't mean putting your life on hold. Great Clips. It's going to be great. So far, the text questions have been great at 865-657-1278. We invite you to keep them coming. Big Orange Rewind is presented by Calhoun's.
Big Orange Rewind on the Vol Network.
Sponsored by Food City, the official supermarket and tailgating headquarters of the Vols. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Complete coverage for every phase of life. Alumni Hall, the ultimate volunteer shopping experience. By Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee, the official insurance of the Vols. Tennessee Insurance for Tennessee Life. Co-op, proudly supplying your rural lifestyle in Big Orange Country. And by UT Medical Center, the official healthcare provider of the Vols and all of Vol Nation.
In this town, we don't just root for the team. We are the team. We rise before the sun, stay long after the lights go out. We are Big Orange Country. And with this team stands another, UT Medical Center. We heal the hurt, fuel the comeback, keep Vol Nation stronger, tougher, together, with care that never lets up. UT Medical Center, official healthcare provider of the Vols and all of Vol Nation.
This October, Protrition Feeds, manufacturer of Co-op and Cumberland Mills branded feeds, is proud to partner with your co-op and stand with the Susan G. Komen Foundation. Be on the lookout for the pink feed tags, because your livestock feed purchase will fight breast cancer in October. Protrition Feeds will donate to Susan G. Komen for every pink tag feed sold, helping raise awareness and fund life-saving research, advocacy, and care. Learn more at your local co-op. Together with farm families, employees, and co-op communities across our region this October, we feed strong, fight strong.
At the University of Tennessee, the torchbearer stands tall, a symbol of leadership, light, and the volunteer spirit. Just like that torch, natural gas provides the energy that lights, warms, and powers Tennessee every single day. Reliable, clean, always ready to serve. Natural gas, keeping the torch burning bright for Tennessee.
Tennessee pride runs deep, from Neyland Stadium to the family farm. At Farm Credit Mid-America, we stand behind the Tennessee farmers who feed and fuel our nation, just like we cheer for the Vols on game day. Because we understand that whether you farm every day, only on the weekends, or simply enjoy time on property outside of town, we have loans to fit your needs. Because farming matters, and so does every play, every harvest, every heartbeat of Tennessee. Learn how Farm Credit Mid-America serves the great state of Tennessee at FCMA.com. Loan subject to credit approval. Additional terms and conditions may apply. Farm Credit Mid-America is an equal opportunity lender.
Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's, continues.
Have you with us? Glad to be taking your questions. We want to talk about what you want to talk about on this particular program. Brent Hubbs is here. Glad he's here because he answers a lot of questions.
Sometimes.
You had a question for me about something?
I had a question that was sent in to me earlier today.
You have your own text line?
No.
Wait a minute. I mean, we have, by the way.
I have a very small number of friends. So I got
So you have a burner text line for the Vol Network? This is so you, Hubs. So you can't. So we have one number.
Right.
We have one number for Big Orange Rewind.
Yes, sir.
865-657-1278.
Yes, sir.
We use that same number on the Mike Keith Show.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. We use it for your program, Big Orange Countdown, on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
We use the same number, 865-657-1278, so Larry Stone can ask Jason Swain a question at halftime, and someone can win a prize package from Crossville, the golf capital of Tennessee.
That's correct.
So we have one line.
Yes, sir.
You can leave your text question all the time. Sometimes we find good questions from 2 or 3 days ago, and we use them again because it's such a good question. And yet you, Brent Hubbs, have decided to go rogue.
So I'm not allowed to ask the question?
Okay, go ahead. I just wanted to say that.
I mean, you're right, but here's the question. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I am going to ask the question.
This is from the burner text line. Great.
All right, so the question is this. You referenced this play similar to one of the most famous plays in program history when Joey Aguilar scored from the 5-yard line. You called it the number 10 play. Number 10 play. Will you explain to this fine gentleman who wants to know what it is, Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico
is the name there. Will you explain to him what is famous and why it's number 10?
I don't know why it's number 10.
Okay.
But that was what it was called, and it was a single wing play that you got power behind. You were able to get people all going in the same direction. From my experience in watching most of the single wing stuff that I watched, it was more of an off-tackle play than it was sort of a sweep, which was student body right, which is what the Vols ended up running. But from the power, from getting the blocks, from getting the numbers, seeing it run out of what is the single wing. I mean, it's so amazing that 60-something years later, Tennessee and everybody else is back to running the single wing because, as you know, Brent, Tennessee, and I think technically UCLA, but I believe Tennessee was the last to have finally abandoned the single wing. When they hired Doug Dickey here in 1964, he was the offensive coordinator at Arkansas, and he was brought in to install the T formation, to have the quarterback go under center and take snaps. The first quarterback who did that was Art Galiffa, but Hal Wantlin really became the first real T formation quarterback here. Tennessee, it hurt him in recruiting in a lot of ways, recruiting quarterbacks, and it wasn't until they really landed Chip Howard out of Knoxville, who was a highly rated player, and then Codridge Holloway, that they started to move forward with that, and then it took them a while longer, really until Heath Shuler, before they landed that national guy because they just didn't have that reputation as a throwing school. Well, now everybody snaps the ball directly to the quarterback in the shotgun, which the shotgun was brought back by Tom Landry with the Dallas Cowboys because he felt like it gave him an advantage on third down passing situations. And all it was, I mean, it's the single wing formation. And so you don't line up the wing back like you once did, but sometimes you do offset the tight end in some of those sets, and the principles aren't totally different. And when you get that power flowing, especially when you have linemen that can pull, because several schools in the single wing era were very famous for pulling guards. They ran plays in and out with guards, which sounds incredibly strange. But Georgia Tech, for example, very famous for their pulling guards in the set to be able to get the power going. So very similar in terms of the flow to what Tennessee historically did well starting with General Neyland.
Yeah, and obviously Tennessee pulled on that play.
Oh, yeah.
They pulled.
They had like
Moy.
19 guys out in front of it.
They had a great block by Van Dorselaer on that play there. Football is. I love football for a lot of reasons. One of the things I love about football is whatever went out of style. It's kind of like clothing. At some point, it's going to come back. Like,
it's not always a good thing, but
right,
yes,
but
it's
like,
true.
You know, some of the things you wore when you were a kid, you're like, wait a minute, we don't no way wear it. Now it's like, oh, they wear that. Yeah, we wore that. Like, I understand, dude. I understand what you're wearing. Like, we understand. That's the way football is. There's always that. It always kind of comes back around. It will never go back truly to straight I formation football, but teams are running the counter. You know, like the Redskins used to run the counter. You see teams in the goal line area now getting the I formation and play football. I love the fact that it never completely goes away.
Brent, teams don't know how to defend the I formation.
Because nobody in high school's seen it.
They haven't seen it. And a lot of these young coaches haven't ever seen it.
Yeah.
Because they've been playing with this style of football for 20 years, and suddenly you're like, now what? You know, and now something you're starting to see, though, is you're starting to see the big back return. People, you know, Tennessee's seen a couple of the Bothwell kid, I don't know how you tackle that kid. There's nothing to hit.
Yeah.
He's 5'10", 230, 235. What do you tackle?
Yeah.
It's like the Travis Henry back in the day. I mean, there's nothing to tackle, but those guys are coming back a little bit. And you're right. That's the beauty of football is, you know, and you saw UAB run some of the Emory and Henry formation, which Spurrier did a lot during his time at Florida to throw people off. All those things are still in the rule book.
Right.
You know, you don't have to snap the ball between your legs for it to be a legal center snap. And people are like, you don't? Nope. You know, you don't have to throw the ball forward overhand to be a legal forward pass. You could throw it underhand, sidearm, any way you want to. It's just going forward. And these are things that are still, you know, in the rule book that people pull out at different points, just like Alabama threw to the tackle.
Yeah.
On the screen, you know, and a 360-pound tackle got down to the 1 yard line because he was the end man on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. I really like offensive coaches who are open-minded to different things, and they're not just in. And that's one of the things I've enjoyed watching about this Tennessee offense this year because they made some significant off-season tweaks and changes. Their fundamentals of what their system is still firmly in place, but they've changed routes. They've changed formations. They're doing different things. You know, sometimes you get some of these guys are like, this is what we do, and this is all that we do.
Right.
I enjoy offensive guys who say, hey, maybe I can take a little bit of that. Maybe I can take a little bit of this. Maybe we can incorporate part of this in some way here. I love the creativity that you see with some of these guys out there that maybe wasn't there 20 years ago when it was, this is what we do and that's the only thing we're going to do.
I found it interesting, Josh Heupel's incredible background in defense because of his dad as a coach. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating. And when you understand that he spent most of his life in defensive meetings with dad, then you understand why he's willing to change things on offense because he can see and feel some of what defense is doing to stop him. And clearly teams had changed in 23 and 24. How they defended Tennessee was quite different.
Yes, very much so. And again, I think when you have an understanding on the other side of the ball, it allows you to be better on your side of the ball, right? I mean, let's be honest here. Do we think that Lane Kiffin's offensive ingenuity is not spurred a little bit because of his dad on the defensive side?
100%.
Same thing with Josh Heupel. I think when you have an understanding, a really good understanding of the mindset of what defensive guys are doing, then you can adjust and you can tweak. And clearly Josh Heupel and his staff came out of last year and said, we don't have to completely overhaul, but we've got to evolve. We need version 2.4 or whatever of this offense. And you're seeing some of that. Quarterback's got to be able to operate it. You got to be able to have the personnel to do it. But we're seeing that next version or evolution of the offense.
From our official text line at 865-657-1278. Brent Hubbs, can you tell EA Sports they have Caleb Herring's speed rating too low on College Football 25? He made the left tackle look like he was standing still on those 2 sacks.
He got off the ball really, really well, man. And you know, I was a little surprised State didn't adjust snap count and try to, because Tennessee was pinning their ears on third down, and they had a good beat on the snap count. Those tackles for Mississippi State had a hard time getting out of their stance and get going. And boy, Tyree West and certainly Caleb Herring made them pay. Herring's always been fast. You play faster when you're playing with confidence. He's playing with some confidence. He's starting to speed up. He's playing faster, not because he's suddenly gotten more athletic, but when you got a lot of confidence about how you're playing, you play faster, and I think he's playing faster.
Don't
right now.
leave Weathersby out too. He showed up yesterday.
Yeah, well, they've got bodies coming there, which is a good thing for them.
And getting Hobbs back is going to be huge.
Yep, going to help.
All right, 865-657-1278. More of your text questions, more of your comments, more of everything. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's, a proud sponsor of the Vols.
UT fans know it takes teamwork to win. And when you choose Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, you get a team who served Tennesseans for 80 years. From babies to seniors, big needs to small, we offer health coverage that fits your life and your budget. All from a company right here in your community. Now that's what we call a big win. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
Tennessee fans, your game day isn't complete without Calhoun's. Whether you're inside Neyland Stadium for the game or tailgating on campus or at home, Calhoun's has you covered with shareable small bites, family feed packs, and party platters. Imagine your tailgate piled high with hickory smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and that famous barbecue chicken. The best of Tennessee on one plate. Call ahead or order online and make your game day legendary. Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee.
Hey fans, it's Coach Heupel. On the field, every play adds up in a long drive. Life works the same way. Whether you're building a home, raising a family, or running a small business, it takes consistency and a strong team behind you. That's why I turned to Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee. Just like our team, they're built for the long drive. Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee. Tennessee Insurance for Tennessee Life. Get a free quote at FBITN.com. At the University of Tennessee, the Vols are known for competing at the highest level on the field, the court, and the diamond. And just like the Vols, Food City excels at everything too. They've got in-store butchers carving up certified Angus beef, fresh local produce, a full-service bakery, Fuel Bucks rewards, and one of the best beer and wine selections in town. Food City, the official supermarket of the Vols, and your home for everything Tennessee.
Presented by Calhoun's. This is Big Orange Rewind.
Your text questions at 865-657-1278. Hey fans, the beef sweepstakes are back. Food City and your local cattle farmers are ready to fire up the perfect combination, beef and football. Every time you purchase a fresh beef product using your Food City value card, you'll automatically be registered to win a pair of tickets to see the Vols take on Oklahoma on November 1st. You bring the appetite, we'll serve up the game. Only from Food City and your local cattle farmers. Contest ends October the 19th. Hard to believe that game is just around the corner, barely over a month away. When you saw the schedule, November 1st, you're thinking, oh, gosh, November 1st.
Goes fast.
It's amazing, right?
It goes really, really
We're
fast.
42% complete in the regular season.
It's beautiful chaos for just a short period of time, it feels like. But it's a ton of fun. And this next month is going to be fascinating in this league. Obviously, Tennessee's schedule. But I think when you look around the rest of this league, this is going to be a wild October.
And Arkansas fires Sam Pittman, makes Bobby Petrino the interim coach. Arkansas has a bye weekend as well this weekend, so Bobby Petrino will make his re-debut. Can you make a re-debut? He will make his re-debut as Arkansas coach coming up October the 11th at Neyland Stadium. Time will be announced. We are waiting for that. Have you decided? Do you think it's a night game? Do you think it's
I'm going afternoon.
You're going to go like a 4:15-ish?
Yeah, I'm going to go in the afternoon in that 3:30 to 4:30 or whatever that window is.
I think it's too good a story. I think they want to put it somewhere where they can send one of their big crews here and talk all about it and be with Bobby Petrino and Joey Aguilar and.
You act like you know something.
I don't know any. See, now you're doing that. We're sitting here having a conversation on a talk show.
I'm just saying.
And now you're making it into some conspiracy theory that I know something.
Here's the thing.
Just because that's what you did with Kentucky as the third opponent. For weeks.
That was a bad take by me. That was a really bad take. That was that uninformed opinion I created. I did not think that went all the way through.
So you thought South Carolina was going to be the third annual opponent, is what you said on VolQuest.
That's what I wrote. I did look that out there. I did not. It was really poorly done by me. Okay, I don't really want to revisit that one. I was wrong. Okay,
I think you turned so fast because you knew something.
No, I turned so fast because I looked at Kentucky and go, who are their three going to be? If it's not Tennessee, who are they getting?
So you went, wow, yeah. I'm wrong.
I did great research there. By the way, Georgia-Auburn is for sure a night game.
Yes.
That week. You have two other flex games.
Yes.
South Carolina at LSU. You know LSU's lobbying for a night game.
Well,
but they are.
Yeah, but do they always get a night game? No.
Florida and Texas A&M is the other flex game. So you got three flex games there.
But Florida's 1-3.
They are.
Now Texas A&M's off to a nice start, and Florida's an interesting story because Billy Napier's under the gun.
I mean, here's the thing too. That's Red River rivalry, right? Isn't that what we said? That's the 3:30 game.
That's the 3. Yeah.
Are they going to put A&M opposite of Texas TV time?
No, I mean I think that's probably an early game.
No, it's flexed to it. It'll be an afternoon or a night game. It's not early.
Oh, so it's okay.
That's what our producer for this show has texted me.
Well, I told you Alabama, Missouri's the noon game.
Right. So are they going to put Texas?
And then Washington State Ole Miss is the 12:45.
Yeah, I mean Missouri gets Alabama at noon. That's 11 o'clock their time. 11 o'clock Central?
Yeah.
That's early, man. Advantage road team when you're playing that early. For the crowd and everything, advantage road team.
No, those people they'll be ready.
Advantage road
They'll
team.
be coming off that big Vanderbilt game, Alabama will, though.
They will be.
Where College Game Day's going. Going to Tuscaloosa for Vanderbilt, Alabama.
Yeah, schedule imbalance. No offense to Vanderbilt, no offense to Alabama, but you had all these great games this past week. This week,
well, yeah,
not a great schedule.
8 SEC teams are off this weekend.
Yeah, not going to happen again. You're right. You said that off the top.
Never, ever happen again because of the 9. That's the great thing is now you're going to have conference games every weekend.
Yep.
All right, back to the text line. Was it surprising that Edwin Spillman outsnapped Jeremiah Thielander, particularly in the second half? This coming from Benjamin in Alcoa.
No, I didn't. I think Spillman's playing well. I think his athletic ability, particularly getting sideline to sideline with some of the run stuff that they were doing, made some sense. Thielander was in there late, made a couple big stops late in the fourth quarter when Tennessee slowed down, stopped the run there. I think William Inge is trying to manage snap counts. The one he wasn't managing was Harrison Carter, who wasn't 100%, but he wasn't coming out. But no, it doesn't shock me. I think you're going to continue to see a rotation there. Edwin Spillman's a really good-looking player who's only going to get better and better. And Thielander is obviously steady in there, and they're going to play him, but you're going to see those guys rotate.
Eric wants to know, what influence will Jim Chaney have on the offense?
None.
I guess we need to put some background on that. Jim Chaney, formerly a coach here, is now –
he is basically an advanced scout and is helping more – with some advanced scouting of opponents, not self-scouting, not involved in, not involved in game planning, not involved with anything with the offense. He's not had conversations with the offensive staff. He's never been in the complex, never been at practice. He is just doing advanced scouting on future opponents to help Tennessee out, and that advanced scouting is more looking at the opponent's offense to help with the defensive side of the ball with just some advanced scouting stuff.
Comment on the text line, thought Rodney Garner did a great job rotating the defensive line.
Have to. And here's the one that's come, Isaiah Campbell. Isaiah Campbell got his nose bloodied early. I thought he got pushed around a little bit early, but I thought he held up much better in the second half. When you look at this defensive line, this is when they get everybody back healthy, the thought might be that you bounce Don Bailey back outside. But with Weathersby, with West, with Marion Dye when he gets healthy, are you strong enough out there at the strong side defensive end that you keep Bailey inside as a part of a 4 to 5 man rotation that includes Moy, Bryson Eason, Bailey, Hobbs, and then it's Campbell and Nathan Robinson, and now you're playing 6. And Utley's still in there.
Utley's in there as well.
Now you can still slide Bailey back outside some, but does he still stick inside some? I think is going to be something to watch over the run here. I thought those ends, once they got settled in early on, I didn't think they did a good job, but I thought the last quarter, maybe quarter and a half plus overtime, they did a much better job against the run, and they're obviously rushing the passer well right now.
Will Oklahoma be a night game from the text line?
I think that's sort of what everybody is thinking and hoping. That's what Tennessee would like to have here. They would love for that to be the dark mode game. Oklahoma's going to be – the storylines there are never going to go away. And I don't care how many years in a row that they play. That storyline's never going to go away because it's Josh Heupel, it's Oklahoma. It's not going away anytime soon. So, yeah, I think that's the hope is that would be a night game. It's a flex game right now. Could be afternoon, could be night. Got to look at the rest of the schedule, but Tennessee would love for that to be a night game.
The only set night game the Vols have right now is Kentucky, right?
Correct. That's the only guaranteed night game is at Kentucky.
But because it's not the end of November, you're okay with it?
We'll see. We'll see.
October 25th could still be a little breezy up there at Kroger Field.
I'm the only guy that was on the field yesterday in 3/4 sleeve vest over top of my shirt. So, and I was fine. I was like, man, you're burning up. No, I feel pretty good, actually. I'm okay. I'll have every heated piece of gear I own with me in Lexington, perhaps, because it'll probably be chilly.
More coming up with Brent Hubbs and me, Mike Keith, on this edition of Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's. Look for Calhoun's inside Neyland Stadium.
Today's Big Orange Rewind, sponsored by
First Horizon Bank, Big Bank Solutions, Small Bank Spirit, the official bank of the Vols. Swaggerty's Farm Sausage, quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America. By the Tennessee Fund. Join the My All campaign today at IWillGiveMyAll.com. Rackley Roofing, the official roofer of the Vols. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Tennessee Volunteers.
Tennessee fans, the Vol Shop has everything you need to support the Big Orange with a 15,000 square foot store in the Student Union and other locations on Cumberland Avenue, in the University Commons, and inside Neyland Stadium. The Vol Shop is stocked full of official gear and exclusive apparel. The Vol Shop is your go-to retailer for Tennessee merchandise. If you can't make it to campus, shop online at utvolshop.com and be sure to follow them on social media. The Vol Shop, the official campus store of the University of Tennessee.
It's football time in Tennessee, and that means it's time for Calhoun's. Whether you're headed to the game or watching from home, make Calhoun's your pregame, postgame, and every game headquarters. From hickory smoked pulled pork to the legendary ribs, juicy burgers, and mouth-watering brisket, Calhoun's delivers the flavor that fuels Big Orange fans. With 9 convenient East Tennessee locations, there's a Calhoun's near you. So gather your friends, wear your orange, and experience why they're the taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's, proud to serve Vol fans since 1983.
Vol fans, Ready to score big on your next home? Clayton Homes, Oakwood Homes, and Love Homes are proud sponsors of Tennessee Athletics and proud to help you find your dream home. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking for your forever home, their teams across Tennessee have your back. With 29 locations statewide and Energy Smart Homes designed for year-round savings and a lifetime of comfort, it's never been easier to make the move. Stop by today and see why so many families and Vol fans trust Clayton, Oakwood, and Love Homes to turn home ownership into a win.
From the practice field to the fourth quarter, our attitude is always the same. Confidence and commitment can turn your dreams into reality. Where there's a dream, there's a way. And that's First Horizon's philosophy. Big bank muscle, small bank hustle. Over 160 years of banking based right here in the Volunteer State. It's no wonder First Horizon is the official bank of Tennessee Athletics.
A look back and what's next. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
What's next? A bye for the Volunteers this weekend, along with Arkansas, who will have a new coach when they come to Knoxville on Saturday, October the 11th. Sam Pittman out, Bobby Petrino in. Some high-profile coaching vacancies out there. UCLA is open. Virginia Tech is open. Oklahoma State is open. And now, theoretically at least, Arkansas is open, although Bobby Petrino, as the interim, says he wants the full-time job if he's able to get it.
Yeah, and I think all those jobs that are open are name jobs, but how good of jobs are they? How good are those jobs? I think that's the question mark everybody's got.
Well, they're clearly high-profile, and that's what I said. Because
they're big-name jobs.
They're big-name jobs, but are they big jobs?
Right. And I think that's what, if you're an up-and-comer, you're a young guy, you're going to be on everybody's board, I think you're going to be really cautious about where you're going. First of all, you got UCLA, and the travel there is crazy. The fan interest there is not great. Where are they financially? Not in a good place from everything you read. You have the AD at Arkansas who basically came out 2 weeks ago and said, hey, we're not competitive for a championship in football financially where we are right now. We got to be better. Most people don't state that publicly, but he did. What kind of impact does that have on the job search, if any?
Well, was he trying to get the attention of everybody who's involved
Probably.
at Walmart?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, he said that at the Little Rock Touchdown Club. Virginia Tech is adding $20 million to their budget to try to up their play financially in the world of college football. So you got to look at that. I mean, it's different now because you're looking at jobs and from a business side of it more than you ever have. Like, it used to be, can you win there? Do they have enough facilities? What's the recruiting footprint? Now the question is, financially, how competitive can we be? And I think that's the thing you have to look at with all of these jobs. Gundy was, in a situation at Oklahoma State, a little resistant to some of the stuff that was taking place in college athletics with rev share and NIL and everything. So where are they? Those are the questions candidates are asking now that were unthinkable 5-7 years ago. You never thought about asking that stuff.
So Tennessee and Arkansas, who face one another on October the 11th, are off this week. Auburn is off. LSU is off. Ole Miss is off. Missouri is off. South Carolina off. The only games this weekend in the conference, Vanderbilt at Alabama. College game day will be there. Vanderbilt is 5-0. Vanderbilt, with a win, would have 2 straight wins over Alabama and would be bowl eligible on October 4th.
Wow. Clark Lea's done a really good job there.
He has.
Now, Alabama's had this one circled for a year.
Well, and the next 5 for Vanderbilt are intriguing.
Yep. Very much
The
so.
season could change in a hurry.
It could.
Or they could win 2 or 3 of those and come into the Tennessee game and 8 or 9 win team.
Could be.
Could be. Texas is at Florida. Kentucky at Georgia. Mississippi State at Texas A&M. That's an interesting game.
Yeah. I mean, I think Texas A&M, although they didn't play particularly well against Auburn, I think Auburn's better than probably people give them a little bit credit for. They kind of hang around in games, but I think Texas A&M is pretty good. They just need to be more consistent offensively.
I think State's better than we thought they were, though.
Yeah, boy, I don't love their schedule. Looking for them to trying to get bowl eligible. You look at what they've got. I mean, they're gonna have to win at Florida probably. They got Kentucky. Then they're gonna have to steal some stuff. I mean, now if they win those two, they'll be bowl eligible. But if they don't, then they're gonna have to steal one somewhere where they will not be the favorite.
Well, I will be interested to see how competitive they are this weekend at A&M in a difficult situation against what appears to be on paper a physical team.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was a physical game. They got beat up yesterday. They lost a lot of players in the secondary. I'll be curious to see what that injury report looks like for them on Wednesday.
And didn't the Thompson kid, Brennan Thompson, go out at some point?
He went out at some point. The safety went out, went to the locker room. He came back. They had a lineman go to the locker room. They had some pretty significant injuries in that game. So what do they look like this week coming out of a physical football game?
Kent State is at Oklahoma as well. Shouldn't be too difficult for Oklahoma.
No, everything for them is pointed towards the Red River rivalry, and when do they get the quarterback back?
General Manager of the Vol Radio Network is Brandon Parks, Executive Director Glenn Thaxton, Director of Business Development Josh Payrow, Special Advisor Steve Early, Account Executives Chuck Arnold, Kevin Ashmos, Ben Bates, Nick Bell, Savannah Chalfant, Brandon Lane, Jessica Leifheit, Spencer Rudder, Chris Wagner. Technical Director Tim Barry, Network Engineer Jay Leifert, Network Producer Eli Davis.
Big Orange Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's is the perfect place to rewind after every Tennessee game.
Rewind one more time to this weekend's action. Catch the podcast at utsports.com. Big Orange Rewind. We are the Vol Network.